I've been thinking about Jesus' interaction with the woman caught in the act of adultery in John chapter 8, and how it's a beautiful picture of Jesus freeing us from sin in three distinct ways. He frees us from the shame of sin, the penalty of sin, and the power of sin. If you remember this story, the religious leaders bring this woman caught in the act of adultery, throw her at the feet of Jesus, and they demand the punishment that the Old Testament law prescribed. Never mind, they didn't bring the man. It takes two to tango. See, they were willing to humiliate this woman to accomplish their own selfish goals. They wanted to catch Jesus in a dilemma that pitted grace and forgiveness against the righteous demands of the law. And Jesus famously said, "Whoever among you is without sin, let him cast the first stone." And one by one, the men humiliated walked away. One way Jesus frees us from sin is he frees us from the shame of sin. He asked the woman, "Where are they?" The men walked away. Jesus condemned the condemners. And in doing so, he gives the woman back her dignity, her worth, and her value. See, when we sin, it's like a heavy weight is on our shoulders. Sometimes we can even say it makes us feel dirty. Sometimes shame comes not because we've sinned, but because we've been sinned against. And Jesus on the cross takes away the weight and the filth of shame, whether it's shame from our sin or sin committed against us. The second way Jesus frees us from sin is he frees us from the penalty of sin. He tells the woman, "Neither do I condemn you." Remember, he had said, "Whoever's without sin, let them cast the first stone." Well, there was one of them who was without sin. It was Jesus. And even though he had the right and the ability to condemn her, he doesn't. He forgives her, freeing her from the penalty of her sin. Do you realize that we are before a holy God guilty of sin? We deserve eternal punishment and death, but Jesus, through his work on the cross, forgives us for that sin and takes away the penalty for our sin. Because Jesus was fully God and fully man, he's uniquely qualified to reconcile God and humanity. And the third way Jesus frees us from sin is he frees us from the power of sin. He tells the woman, "Go and sin no more." I don't know if you have an addiction, if you have a sin stronghold that you keep going back to over and over. I don't know if you have a wrong way of thinking, but Jesus, through his power in us, his Holy Spirit in us, he gives us the power to overcome those strongholds, and he offers that to you too. Finally, how do we receive this freedom from sin? The exact same way the woman in John chapter 8 did, by casting ourselves at the feet of Jesus and acknowledging that he has the ability to remove the shame of our sin, the penalty for our sin, and break the power of sin in our life. I pray that you would know the freedom from sin that only Jesus can give. Amen.